Assalamu alaikum and welcome to Jalsa 2021 coverage by the Review of Religions. We're here in Huzur-e-Anwar, and as you can see, people are working around the clock to make this Jalsa happen. So for the few thousand that are going to be here on site, it's going to be an amazing experience. But what about the millions across the world? They're relying on one department that's going to broadcast that on the internet and across television, and that's MTA International. So we went to MTA International to find out how Huzur is guiding them to bring you this unique content in a special way for Jalsa Salana 2021.
Hazrat Amirul Mu'mineen Khalifatul Masih al-Khamis Ayyadahullah Ta'ala bin Nasr al-Aziz decided that we must have the Jalsa Salana this year. As Huzur-e-Ta'ala bin Nasr al-Aziz was mentioning to me, that if we will not have the Jalsa Salana, it would mean that people, especially the youngsters and children, might forget, what kind of Jalsa Salanas are. So that is why Huzur-e-Ta'ala bin Nasr al-Aziz said that we must have Jalsa Salana this year.
I remember when this talk about Jalsa happening this year started, and in one of my mulaqats I asked Huzur, how many people are expected to attend. And Huzur said there is a chance that this many people or maybe this many people, but however many people attend, you should remember that on MTA, Jalsa is going to happen on a fully fledged scale.
From the outset, Hazrat Amirul Mu'mineen Ayyadahullah Ta'ala bin Nasr al-Aziz had a clear vision for the Jalsa in the UK this year. Earlier this year, he's given us instructions to do some preparations to hold the Jalsa in Hadiqat al-Mahdi with similar plans for Islamabad on the same scale as last year.
In particular, when we went to see Hazrat Khalifatul Masih in one of the mulaqats, he mentioned that there should be a separate studio this year for Africa, and it serves also as a chance for tabligh, not only the viewers of MT Africa, but we have many external channels that receive our broadcast. So this year alone, our broadcast will be going on the national TV channel of Gambia, Sierra Leone, and many other channels across the continent.
As Jalsa Salana UK draws closer, preparations are in full flow. MTA International Africa has also not been left out in this preparation. Teams across Africa in Ghana, Nigeria, Sierra Leone and other countries have all joined hands to prepare for the success of the Jalsa Salana UK.
Well, the fundamentals of all the work that we do, both for this Jalsa and throughout the year, are guided by the guidance of Hazrat Amirul Mu'mineen, and the main guidance is that MTA Online should facilitate the wider objectives of MTA, that it should make accessible to people across the world looking at new territories and new spaces.
Among the key teams of MTA is the Lajna's MTA team, who work tirelessly and with great dedication to carry out some of the vital tasks.
So right now we are making preparations. We're making preparations for the filming that we can offer our viewers so that we can give them an insight into what's going on behind the scenes. And we will be producing short programs so that they can get an understanding of what it's also like on the ladies' side during this Jalsa.
One of the things that I've learned over the years, and one of the things that I've gotten from Huzur's addresses to MTA about MTA, is that Huzur doesn't make any distinction between the importance of men or women in MTA. Huzur is always saying that the service of men and women is valued. All of us, regardless of our gender, regardless of our background, regardless of what we are doing outside of MTA, we all bring certain skills, we all bring certain experiences to MTA.
This year, inshallah, many countries will be connecting virtually to the Jalsa Salana broadcast, and many countries around the world from different continents will be shown in the Jalsa Gah as well as on MTA screens, to connect even in a better way the Ahmadiyya family around the world.
The theme that Huzur approved for this year's Jalsa was how challenging the last year has been and the blessings that Allah the Almighty has bestowed upon the Jamaat. All along in the last 17-18 years of my interaction with Hazrat Amirul Mu'mineen, I've seen that Huzur does not like to look at the bleak sides and the dark sides of the picture, and he always keeps his eye on the brighter side and wants people, especially Ahmadis, to also look at the brighter side of the picture. So all programs that we prepared, Huzur's instruction always remained in our mind that we're going to say that the year, yes, was year and a half now, was very, very challenging, but there is a brighter side of the picture, and Allah the Almighty has never left the Jamaat alone, and in any circumstances, Allah the Almighty Himself bestows a lot of blessings and a lot of good outcome from any situation, and Alhamdulillah we witnessed that, and that has been the main theme that we'll be focusing on in our programs.
Basically, transmission role is to work 24/7 within MTAs, and Hazrat Khalifatul Masih Ayyadullah Ta'ala bin Nasrul Aziz guidance has always been the pivotal point within our operation. Huzur has always guided us how we should be operating, and since this operation is 24/7, it never stops. So in that regard, whatever happens around us in terms of surroundings and in terms of disasters or others, we have to be ready for all critical situations.
And Huzur was very, very particular. Normally, because of the COVID situation, we were quite worried that should we still be broadcasting to these channels. But Huzur graciously had instructed us that we should continue with that broadcast, and we should try to reach new channels that we haven't broadcast to before. And Alhamdulillah, this year it was a blessing that many channels that we've been broadcasting to in the past, they actually came to us.
When Huzur Aziz became a Khalifa, he expressed his wish to start an Arabic channel for MTA to convey the message of the promised Messiah ﷺ to the Arab world specifically. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in miraculous ways made that happen during his Khilafat.
Hazrat Amir al-Mu'mineen Khalifatul Masih al-Khamis Sayyidullah Ta'ala bin Nasrul Aziz takes a lot of interest, in MTA International's programs, and in fact I would say, and that won't be wrong, that entire programs which we have on MTA International, these are guided by Hazrat Amir al-Mu'mineen Ayyadahullah Ta'ala bin Nasrul Aziz.
But it's just amazing to see how Huzur knows the psyche of the global audience of MTA more than anybody else. I've failed to understand how that is possible. The only one inkling I have that maybe that is why is because every Ahmadi in the world feels free to write to Huzur what programs they've watched, what programs they've enjoyed, what kind of programs they want to watch. So MTA International is a grand structure, but the understanding of MTA International that Huzur has is grander and is vast and is expansive and is much, much greater and much, much magnificent than anybody else in MTA International itself.
So this year for Jalsa Salana, MTA News will be producing reports before, at and after the Jalsa itself. So then during the Jalsa itself, we'll be doing several reports which we'll be releasing through our social media channels.
Yeah, these days more and more people watch TV over the internet. So MTA IT department provides the online space for MTA to be watched over the internet. So during Jalsa Salana, we take all the infrastructure to Hadikatul Mahdi to provide the services to be broadcasted from Hadikatul Mahdi. The highlight of the whole Jalsa is the Bath or the final address or all the addresses of Khalifatul Masih, and we see the spike if there is like 100,000 people watching, and as soon as the Huzur sermon star or Huzur arrives, you see the spike, it goes shoot up to the stars.
So this year we've decided to strip things back quite a lot. So we're looking at doing the basics and trying to do them really well. We have a particular emphasis on children. So we're wanting to reach out to children. I think many people will have seen the Kids Space series that's been going on. So there'll be a Jalsa Salana special for that. But we're looking at different ways to involve children, especially as due to the restrictions, they won't be able to attend themselves.
इंशाल्लाह इस साल जलसे के लिए जो ट्रांसलेशंस का सेटअप है वो दो जगह पे होगा, एक हदीक़तुल महदी में जलसा गाह में और दूसरा बैतुल फतूह में. कुछ ट्रांसलेशनें हमें बज़रिया लाइव स्ट्रीम ऑडियो स्ट्रीम के ज़रिए से यहाँ पे रिसीव होंगी और कुछ ट्रांसलेटर्स यहाँ पे बूथ्स के अंदर आके तो तर्जमा करेंगे.
whenever the Jalsa is coming up, we tend to get some material which is going to be aired on MTA during the 3 days of Jalsa, and we get some speeches from the speakers aside from Huzur. Huzur's speeches are translated live on the spot, and there's no material received for that. But the other speakers who do some speeches, we do receive their speeches beforehand, and we try to prepare that so that it's easier for us to translate during the 3 days of Jalsa, 3 weeks, 2 weeks beforehand. And this is something that all the translators in different languages are doing currently at this time as well.
The subtitling at Jalsa is always the same in that every year it's our responsibility to provide as many subtitles as possible for the content that's going to be broadcast at Jalsa. So every year our work starts weeks before Jalsa begins. We have to complete all the work in the days before Jalsa. So everything, all the documentaries, all the fillers, everything needs to be transcribed, everything needs to be subtitled and ready to transmit several days before Jalsa even begins.
In regards to the transmission setup at Hadikatul Mehdi, we start a few weeks before and checking all our fiber lines connecting our different sites. For example, the fiber lines are connecting Hadikatul Mehdi to Baitul Futuh, to Islamabad, to Fazl Mosque. All these sites are connected.
And Huzur-e-Ta'ala bin Nasr Aziz also said at that time that we must explore the possibilities of sending the signals by our own satellite truck so that we can save a lot of money if we are able to send the signals from our own satellite truck. And that is what we are doing at the moment. So inshallah, we will be sending the signals through our own satellite truck.
When we came on Monday, we discovered that there was no tracks and there was no route to get to this location we are here in right now. And so we had to build a track from scratch. So we decided to take a new route from the first aid, and we built a road from the first aid to get between the two marquees. So that was quite a lot of additional work outside of our plan. So alhamdulillah, now we managed to get the track down for the MTA pad. As you can see around me, this is the MTA pad. So over in my right, on the right of me, is the area which live production trucks are going to be coming and standing. So we'll be parking the trucks up along this route here, and on the far side, we can see it's an offline pad we call it, and this is basically the post-production area.
Some of the members of MTA have been serving since its early days. We asked them to share some of their memories of previous Jalsas.
Well, in those early days, it was very excitement that when we came to know that, we are going to broadcast Hazrat Amirul Mu'minin Khalifatul Masih the Fourth's address live. It would be broadcast all over the world. There was so many excitements, and I still remember, and I can see that when Huzur Rahimullah Ta'ala was addressing the gathering here in Islamabad, after the address, there were so many countries from where we were receiving the messages that, to say Assalamu alaikum to Huzur, and that was on the telephone, that we were receiving the messages of congratulations to Huzur Rahimullah Ta'ala, that Huzur, we are also listening to you, and we are very happy that we have heard you. So Huzur Rahimullah Ta'ala used to repeat those messages to the public that such and such country are also with us, and people are gathered there, and they are also listening to Huzur Rahimullah Ta'ala. So this was the start of our live broadcast.
Many of the workers in MTA will be seeing Huzur for the first time since the lockdown. We asked them to share their emotions about serving in this Jalsa.
This Jalsa is going to be unique for us in many, many different ways. It will be the first time in 18 months that we've been able to actually have a Jalsa where people can gather at Hadikatul Mehdi for the Jalsa Salana. Of course, as everyone knows, it's going to be a much more scaled back event due to the ongoing COVID pandemic. However, the very fact that we're going to be able to be in the presence of Huzur when he comes into the Ladies Jalsa on the Saturday is going to be incredibly emotional, and I think we're all going to feel incredibly blessed by that.
जो मैं अपने लिए सोचता हूँ वो ये है कि मुझे इस दुआ के साथ अपने काम को जारी रखना चाहिए कि हम हमारे प्यारे खलीफा को हम इससे ज़्यादा मज़ीद खुश कर सकें और उनसे ज़्यादा कि हम अल्लाह ताला की रज़ा जो है वो हमें मिले.
After Huzur's speech, which he delivered on the MTA conference, he said that every MTA member should be proud to be part of MTA and to be part of working in this such a huge and large, divinely guided establishment. That happiness or whatever you get out of this is hard to explain. Is going to be there at Jalsa as well, and the team's going to work day in day out like we do every year. And inshallah, we'll do everything that comes our way to make this a huge success.
The last time I saw Huzur was probably before the pandemic. My feelings for this Jalsa is something which I can't really describe in words. It's something like I'm really excited about it and I'm looking forward to it. And you know, just to get a glimpse of Huzur, to see him, to be in his presence and to listen to the speeches that he delivers throughout the Jalsa.
ग़ालिबन 2 साल हो चुके हैं कि मैंने अपने प्यारे हुजूर को देखा है, उनका दीदार किया है. तो जैसा कि सब जानते हैं कि ये जलसा सालाना के दिन चल रहे हैं, तो उम्मीद है कि कुछ ही दिनों में मेरा अगर चक्कर लगता है, जो कि मुझे पता है लगेगा कि इस्लामाबाद जाने का, और खलीफा वक्त को देखना, मैं उस चीज़ को, मैं अपने इम्प्रेशंस को बयान नहीं कर सकता कि ये एक अजीब ही एक कैफियत है कि अपने प्यारे हुजूर को इतनी देर बाद देखूं. शायद मैं अपने अंदर कंट्रोल नहीं कर पाऊंगा कि मैं अपने जज्बात को कि I can't even explain them in words. I would love to see him.
Both from spiritual and administrative perspective, MTA is playing a great role in conveying and amplifying the voice of Khalifa of the time. It is eliminating distances, removing barriers, and above all, ensuring that the Jamaat of the Prophet Messiah Islam remains united at the hand of Khilafat, and that Ahmadis across the world follow exactly the same religious teachings and beliefs. Follow exactly the same religious teachings and beliefs. From one corner of the world to the next, from Asia to Europe, from Africa to Americas, from the Far East to the various islands of the world, from the east to the west, from the north to the south, the teachings of the Prophet Messiah Islam and the instructions of the Khalifa of the time are reaching all nations and people through MTA.
Make sure to like, comment below and subscribe to our YouTube channel and other channels for the latest content.